Imagine walking into a modern hospital. You lie down, a machine hums to life, invisible waves pass through your body, and within seconds it produces a perfect cross-section of your insides, organs, bones, blood vessels, layers you were never meant to see. Now, imagine someone, 1,000 years from now, discovering that machine, but without the software, without the context, without the knowledge of how to read the images. Would they understand what they're looking at? Or would they see something mysterious? Now scale that up. Forests scanned from the sky, pyramids probed by cosmic particles, ancient bodies reconstructed layer by layer. Every year, a new headline appears. History has been rewritten. But has it? Because seeing deeper is not the same as understanding better. And tonight, we're going to uncover the physics behind the scans that claim to rewrite history, and why most of those rewrites quietly disappear. You've seen the headlines: a lost city discovered beneath the jungle, a hidden chamber inside the Great Pyramid, an ancient civilization far more advanced than we thought. It feels like history is constantly being overturned, like everything we knew was wrong. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of these revolutionary discoveries don't survive. They fade, they get reinterpreted, they get quietly corrected. Not because the technology failed, but because interpretation is harder than detection, because data is not knowledge, and because history isn't rewritten by a single scan. So the real question isn't, what did we just discover? It's this: why do so many discoveries that look world-changing fail to change anything at all? Picture yourself flying over a dense jungle. Below you, an endless sea of green. No roads, no cities, no signs of civilization. For decades, archaeologists believed vast regions, especially in Central America, were sparsely populated. Then came a new tool: LiDAR, a laser mounted on an aircraft, firing hundreds of thousands of pulses per second toward the ground. Most bounce off leaves, but some slip through gaps and hit the earth below. By measuring the time it takes for those pulses to return, scientists build a 3D map of the terrain, stripping away the forest digitally. And what they found was staggering. Entire cities, road networks, terraces, reservoirs, thousands of structures hidden beneath the canopy. At first glance, it feels impossible. How could entire civilizations vanish without a trace? The temptation is immediate: lost advanced societies, hidden empires, forgotten knowledge. But this wasn't magic. It was physics, laser reflection, time of flight measurement, signal filtering. LiDAR doesn't reveal cities. It reveals shapes, rectangles, lines, elevations. And here's the catch: those shapes must be interpreted. A mound could be a pyramid, or a natural formation. A line could be a road, or erosion. LiDAR gave archaeologists something incredible, but it didn't give them certainty. And more importantly, it didn't explain why those cities didn't scale into something like Rome, or survive into modern times. Because discovery is one thing, sustained complexity is another, and that leads us deeper into stone. Now place yourself inside the Great Pyramid. Massive stone blocks surround you, precision cuts, perfect alignment. For centuries, people have wondered, are there hidden chambers, secret rooms, something still undiscovered? Recently, scientists used a technique that sounds almost like science fiction: muon scanning. High-energy particles from space constantly rain down on Earth. Most pass through matter, but some are absorbed. By placing detectors inside the pyramid, researchers measure how many particles pass through different kshetra. More particles equals less dense space. Fewer particles equals solid stone. And the result? An anomaly, a void, a possible hidden chamber above the Grand Gallery. The headlines exploded. A hidden room in the Great Pyramid. But here's where things get complicated. Moon scans don't produce images. They produce density maps, gradients, probabilities, statistical deviations. The void could be a chamber, or it could be a structural gap, a relieving space, a construction feature. We don't know, And more importantly, we can't easily verify it without drilling into one of the most important monuments on Earth. So we're left in a strange position. We can detect something, but we can't fully interpret it, and we can't test it directly. This wasn't magic. It was physics, particle absorption, statistical modeling. But physics doesn't give you meaning, only signals. And signals can be misleading. Now imagine a dark tomb, a sealed coffin, untouched for thousands of years. Inside, a mummy. For centuries, the only way to understand what was inside was to unwrap it, a destructive process, one that often damaged the very thing it tried to study. Then came CT scanning, the same technology used in hospitals, X-rays rotating around an object, building a layered 3D model. Suddenly, archaeologists could see inside a mummy without touching it. Bones, amulets, hidden tools, even diseases, heart conditions, dental problems, signs of trauma. It felt like opening a time capsule. And in many ways it was, but did it rewrite history? Not really. It refined it. It added detail. It confirmed hypotheses. It gave us insight into individual lives, not entire civilizations. Because knowing how one person lived doesn't automatically explain how a society functioned. It's like finding a single hard drive in a data center. You can learn a lot from it, but you still don't understand the network. And history is a network. Now, step onto an open field. Nothing visible, just grass and soil. But beneath your feet, there could be walls, foundations, entire buried structures. Ground-penetrating radar sends radio waves into the earth. When those waves hit something with a different density, stone, voids, metal, they reflect back. The result is a layered image of what lies below. It sounds definitive, but it isn't, because soil is messy. Moisture changes signals. Minerals distort reflections. Roots, rocks, and debris create noise. What looks like a wall might be nothing. What looks like a chamber might be a glitch. Archaeologists often describe GPR results as suggestive, not conclusive. And here's the problem. Excavation is expensive, time-consuming, destructive. You can't dig everywhere. So you rely on interpretation, probability, and sometimes you're wrong. This wasn't magic. It was physics, wave propagation, reflection coefficients. But the deeper truth is this: detection is cheap, confirmation is expensive. And that gap is where most rewritten histories fall apart. Up until now, we've been looking at objects, a city, a chamber, a body, a buried structure. But history isn't built from objects. It's built from systems, water networks, trade routes, agriculture, labor organization. And this is where scanning technology becomes truly powerful, not when it finds something, but when it maps everything. LiDAR, revealing entire landscapes, showing how cities connect, how roads link regions, how water flows through engineered channels. Suddenly, you're not just looking at ruins, you're looking at infrastructure. And infrastructure changes the story because it reveals scale, and scale reveals limits. Now imagine a perfect 3D model of an ancient city, every structure mapped, every road traced. You can fly through it, rotate it, explore it digitally. It feels complete, like you finally understand it, but you don't, because a model is not reality. It's an interpretation, built on assumptions, filled with gaps. When LiDAR shows a raised platform, we call it a building. When it shows a line, we call it a road. But those are human labels. Modern analogies help here. Think of a simulation of a power grid. It can look perfect on screen, but until you account for maintenance, human error, supply chains, and failures, it's just a model. Ancient systems were no different. They required labor, coordination, resources, and those don't always leave clear traces. So even the most detailed scan is still incomplete. So why do so many discoveries feel revolutionary? and then disappear. Because rewriting history requires more than detection. It requires convergence, multiple lines of evidence, archaeology, texts, materials, environmental data, and, most importantly, it requires plausibility. Could this system actually function? Could it be maintained? Could it scale? They didn't need miracles. They needed margins, energy, labor, logistics. If a discovery suggests something that doesn't fit those constraints, it doesn't survive scrutiny. There's also a human factor. Exciting claims get attention, funding, headlines, recognition. But science is slow, careful, skeptical. Over time, bold claims are tested, refined, reduced, sometimes rejected. Not because people want to suppress the truth, but because reality is stricter than imagination. So, what actually rewrites history? Not a single scan, but a network of evidence. When LiDAR maps align with excavation, when radar signals match physical structures, when material analysis confirms usage, when logistics make sense, only then does the picture change. Because technology alone is not enough. It needs an ecosystem, skilled interpretation, cross-validation, economic and physical plausibility. Without that, a scan is just a signal, not a story. History isn't a straight line. It's a spiral. And most revolutions are just small turns, mistaken for leaps. Now look around you. Your phone, your internet connection, the invisible cloud storing your data. From the outside, it looks simple, but beneath it lies a vast infrastructure, data centers, cooling systems, power grids, supply chains. Now, imagine all of that. Gone. Thousands of years pass. Future archaeologists scan the Allard. They find foundations, cables, strange ledges. They detect patterns. But do they understand them? Or do they misinterpret them? See mysteries where there were systems? Because the real lesson isn't about the past. It's about complexity, about how fragile knowledge really is, and how easy it is to mistake a signal for a civilization. So the next time you see a headline that says, "History has been rewritten," ask yourself, was it truly rewritten? Or did we just see something new without yet understanding what it means? And more importantly, if our world vanished tomorrow, what would our scans leave behind? And would anyone truly understand them?